when you transitioned, when you began, there wasn't the huge spike that we're seeing now among younger lesbians transitioning. Within the lesbian community, it's seen as an epidemic of F to M. So what's changed in those years?
The comment I hear a lot is, there aren't going to be any butches anymore because they're all going to turn into men.
Okay.
And there is a lot of fear about that. And I think that the truth is that as the trans community becomes more visible, it is going to impact the structure of the lesbian community.
Right.
We need to have some open conversations about what it means to be butch versus what it means to be transgendered or transsexual.
I'm concerned about it because when I was young, okay, I was convinced I was the wrong sex, okay, convinced of it. If these things were in the air, okay, I can see myself going down that road. I mean, I can see him saying, "Oh, I'm the wrong gender. I need to have surgery," and so on and so forth.
A lot of times, are people really sitting down and thinking about this change and what it means?
Right.
We're losing a lot of butch women to the change. And I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just saying my own belief is. There's a difference from being a transsexual or a trans man or a transgender, however you want to call it, than being a butch woman. And there's nothing wrong with being a butch woman.
I have the whole world talking about what makes a man and what makes a woman, and it sure as hell ain't what's between your legs.
Are you single?
Sometimes.
Were you a butch woman as a lesbian? So, and you felt like that was still a mask you were wearing? It still didn't feel natural?
I never could sink into the identity of lesbian. I remember people saying, "So you're lesbian?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I guess. I like women." That's the only connection that I had to being a lesbian, was that I was female-bodied and I was attracted sexually to women.
When I came out as transgender, I knew that I was different from a lot of lesbians who I thought were like me. Some of the things they were doing or the way they were expressing themselves was more of choice, than themselves.
Of course, there are aspects of me that led me and other people to conclude that I was a lesbian, and that is still me. And so it means that even if I transitioned and changed into what people see as a traditional man, I'll still identify with the lesbian identity, and I'll still love to be in lesbian spaces.
There are a number of cases of girls who are not fitting into the preferred sex role and who are now starting to shoot themselves up with hormones. I mean, it's going on college campuses, Smith College, all kinds of. I'm thinking, this is not your problem, okay? You're being encouraged by a gay activist, okay, to think that this is your problem, but it isn't. There's something else going on in your life. What is it?
I was in a long-term relationship that was deemed as a lesbian relationship, and at one point I sort of mentioned to the woman, "How would you feel if I were a trans person?" And she was completely unreceptive and made some comment about it being like, those people self-mutilate their bodies. So it was like, okay, no, I'm shutting that off.
At some point, I identified as a transgender lesbian, which I was proud of, confused so many people. And then I felt that trans man is my identity.
What's a girl like you doing in a position like this?
I had a butch lesbian friend of mine basically, sort of had this talk with me when I came out as a trans guy, and she was like, "Well, what makes you think that, you could do things better than I can because you're a man?" And I was like, I think that's your internal dialogue, not mine.
My point is that any butch women who are watching this interview, I want them to understand that I hope they don't get pressured into feeling like, okay, I have to do this because I'm not going to ever fit in life, and it's better for me just to be a man. And it's not something that they deep down really feel that they've always been man, and it's something that they need to do, as opposed to just being proud and we need butch women. There's lots of young kids coming up who are butch women, and who are going to be their role models. There is not going to be one single butch woman role model left. Done.
Right. Well, in my house.
Except you.